No.
No, and well, I can clean up. That's about all I can do because I
Okay.
don't want to get in the way of perfection because this woman's got it going.
What's your favorite item from the Thanksgiving menu?
Man, I don't even know how to tell you this one. So you have Thanksgiving.
Garth Brooks built an empire on heartbreak songs, packed arenas, and a voice that made millions believe every word. But behind the black cowboy hat was a life far messier than the image. Fame came fast. A marriage began to crack. Old connections took on new meaning. Then came painful choices, family struggles, sudden career turns, and controversies that refused to fade quietly. At 64, his story feels less like a perfect country song and more like a tangled mix of love, distance, loyalty, regret, and second chances. Some people stayed, others were lost along the way, and one relationship would come to mean more than many fans ever understood. Join us as we uncover Garth Brooks' rise, private battles, complicated relationships, hidden costs of fame, and the love story behind it all. The superstar who once ran from Nashville. Long before the packed stadiums, the record sales, and the famous black cowboy hat, Garth Brooks was Troy Garth Brooks, born on February 7, 1962, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was the youngest child of Troy Raymond Brooks Jr., an oil company draftsman, and Colleen McElroy Carroll, a country singer who had recorded for Capitol Records and appeared on Ozark Jubilee. Both parents had been married before, so Garth grew up in a large blended family with 4 older half-siblings, Jim, Jerry, Mike, and Betsy, plus his sister Kelly. At home in Yukon, Oklahoma, music was never just background noise. The family held weekly talent nights, and every child had to do something, whether that meant singing or performing a skit. Garth learned guitar and banjo, yet music was not his main obsession at first. He played football and baseball, ran track and field, and earned a track scholarship to Oklahoma State University, where he competed in the javelin. He later graduated in 1984 with a degree in advertising. At night, though, another side of him was taking shape. He worked as a bouncer at a local bar and formed a band called Santa Fe, learning to play whatever the college crowd wanted. His taste was wide. He heard country through artists like George Jones, but he loved rock and singer-songwriters too, including James Taylor, Dan Fogelberg, and Townes Van Zandt. Then George Strait changed his direction. After hearing Unwound in 1981, Garth became more serious about country music. By 1985, he was singing and playing guitar professionally in Oklahoma bars, especially Wild Willie's Saloon in Stillwater. That same year, entertainment attorney Rod Phelps drove from Dallas to hear him. Phelps liked what he heard, offered to help produce a demo, and pushed him toward Nashville. Garth went, looked around, and came back to Oklahoma within 24 hours. The dream had called him, and he had run home almost immediately. Even then, the man who would later dominate country music was still unsure where he belonged. But Nashville was not finished with him, and neither was the woman who would soon share the hardest part of the climb. Before the fame, one woman was already beside him. Before fame became the third person in his marriage, Sandy Mall knew Garth as a college student with a dream. They met in a bar near Oklahoma State University, where both were students. Sandy later became a songwriter herself and helped write I've Got a Good Thing Going from his debut album and the later hit That Summer. The couple married on May 24, 1986. He was 24 and she was 21. A year later, Rod Phelps was still urging Garth not to give up on Nashville. So in 1987, Garth and Sandy moved there together. This time, he stayed. He began making contacts and chasing the record deal that had once frightened him back to Oklahoma. Yet 1987 also brought another meeting that would matter for the rest of his life. In songwriter Kent Blasey's attic studio, Garth met Patricia Lynn Yearwood, better known as Trisha. She had grown up in Monticello, Georgia, loved music from childhood, studied business, then moved to Nashville in 1985 and pursued a music business degree at Belmont. An internship at MTM Records became a full-time job, and she sang background vocals and made demo recordings. During one of those sessions, she met Garth. Both were unsigned, both were struggling, both were also married to other people. Trisha had married Chris Latham that year, while Garth had been married to Sandy for about 13 months. Still, the connection confused him. Years later, on Ellen, he said meeting Trisha gave him that feeling when you just meet your wife, even though he was already married. He also said they had far more in common than he had imagined, and that he always enjoyed being around her. They did not begin a romance then. They stayed friends. Trisha later remembered that they hit it off, while Garth promised that if he got a record deal, she could open his shows. That promise sounds small now, but at the time, neither knew what was coming. Sandy was beside him as he fought for a career. Trisha had entered his world as a friend. Soon, the record deal he chased would change all three lives. The rejection ended, then the madness began. In 1989, years of struggle finally paid off. Garth released his self-titled debut album, and country music found a new star almost overnight. Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old reached the top 10. If Tomorrow Never Comes became his first #1 country single, and The Dance also went to #1. Its music video pushed him toward a wider audience, and Garth later called it his favorite song he had recorded. That year, he also joined Kenny Rogers as an opening act on his first major tour. Then 1990 changed everything. No Fences spent 23 weeks at #1 on the country albums chart and eventually became his biggest-selling album. Friends in Low Places became his signature anthem, while The Thunder Rolls, Unanswered Prayers, and other hits pushed him far beyond a normal country career. His live shows helped too. Garth brought rock energy to the stage, using a wireless headset so he could run, move, and turn country concerts into something much bigger. He drew from James Taylor, Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen, Queen, Kiss, and especially Chris Ledoux. Yet even as fame exploded, he remembered people from the struggling years. Trisha sang background vocals on No Fences, and after MCA signed her, she opened shows on his 1991 national tour. Their friendship had survived the sudden change in both of their lives. By late 1990, Garth had also entered the Grand Ole Opry. The man who once fled Nashville within 24 hours was now standing inside one of country music's biggest institutions. But success was about to move even faster, and the bigger Garth became, the harder it would be to keep his private world untouched for long. Fame exploded, and home started feeling it. By September 1991, Garth was no longer rising. He was breaking rules country music had lived with for years. Rope in the Wind arrived with 4 million advance orders and entered the Billboard 200 at #1, the first country album to do so. Songs such as The River, What She's Doing Now, and his cover of Billy Joel's Shameless kept the momentum moving. The album became his second biggest seller after No Fences, and his earlier records climbed again with it. For 1 week, Garth became the first country artist to place 3 albums inside the Billboard 200 Top 20 together. NBC filmed his 1991 Reunion Arena concerts in Dallas for a television special. Away from the stage, family life was changing too. Garth and Sandy welcomed their first daughter, Taylor, in 1992. He had named her with his love of James Taylor in mind, yet that same period was also one of his busiest. After witnessing the 1992 Los Angeles riots, he co-wrote We Shall Be Free, a song calling for tolerance. It reached only #12 on the country singles chart, breaking his 3-year run of top 10 country hits, but it earned a 1993 Glade Media Award. His Christmas album, Beyond the Season, became the best-selling Christmas album of 1992. Then came The Chase that summer, and another run of hits. In 1993, Garth entered a fight with music stores selling used CDs, believing artists were losing royalty payments. Capitol initially held In Pieces from stores involved in the practice, leading to antitrust lawsuits before the album was shipped. The controversy did not stop the record. In Pieces reached #1 on both U.S. album charts and sold nearly 10 million copies. His first world tour took him through the United Kingdom, Europe, Brazil, Australia, and New Zealand. British press could be harsh, but fans filled venues, and one disc jockey nicknamed him Darth Vader because of his invasion of the charts. He had reached a level few singers knew. Still, by that point, the home waiting behind that success was beginning to feel the cost. At the top, his marriage was quietly breaking. The mid-1990s kept proving that Garth could stretch country music without leaving it behind. In 1994, he honored one of his influences by joining Kiss on the tribute album Kiss My Ass, Classic Kiss Regrooved. Their version of Hard Luck Woman was performed on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and reached the country chart. That same year, Garth and Sandy welcomed their second daughter, August. A year later, Fresh Horses arrived. She's Every Woman went to #1, while the Aerosmith cover The Fever stopped at #23, his first country single to miss the top 10. Still, The Beaches of Cheyenne became another #1, and the album sold millions. In 1996, their third daughter, Allie, was born. Then Garth launched his second world tour. Around 5.5 million people attended, and the tour grossed more than $105 million. In 1997, Sevens debuted at #1 on both the Billboard 200 and the Country Albums chart. The planned release had been affected by a Capitol Records dispute, but his Central Park concert went ahead and drew 980,000 people. On Sevens, One Voice from His Past was beside him. In Another's Eyes, his duet with Trisha Yearwood reached #2 on the country chart. In 1998, they won the Grammy for Best Country Collaboration with vocals for the song. That same year, Double Live included another Trisha feature, Wild as the Wind. The album became the best-selling live album of all time and was certified 25 times platinum. Yet, while the public watched an unstoppable star, Sandy was living a different version of the story. Garth was often gone for long stretches. Years later, she said people constantly wanted his attention, and even when he came home, there were #1 parties, award shows, and more demands. She said they grew apart really quickly, and admitted neither of them had stopped to think about how fame would change their lives. Garth would later hear parts of her side in the documentary The Road I'm On, and say he had missed things she was trying to tell him. By then, the biggest crowds of his career had already come with a loss. The marriage that began before the stadiums was moving toward its breaking point. While fans questioned Chris Gaines, Sandy was walking away. In 1998, Garth tried another path. He launched the Touch 'Em All Foundation with Major League Baseball and joined the San Diego Padres for spring training in 1998 and 1999. He did not make the regular season roster. Later, with the New York Mets, he went 0 for 17 at the plate. Baseball was a side road, but 1999 brought a bigger gamble. Garth created Chris Gaines, a fictional rock musician meant for a planned film called The Lamb. He changed his look, released Garth Brooks in The Life of Chris Gaines, appeared in a VH1 mock documentary, and even performed as Gaines on Saturday Night Live while hosting as himself. Many fans were confused. Critics attacked the project. The album still reached #2 on the Billboard 200 and sold more than 2 million copies, but that looked disappointing beside Garth's earlier numbers. The project went on indefinite hold in 2001, though Lost in You gave him his only Billboard Top 40 pop single. Behind that public experiment, his marriage was falling apart. Garth and Sandy separated in March 1999. That year also brought the death of his mother, Colleen. In 1999, Trisha's second marriage ended too. She had divorced Chris Latham in 1991, married Mavericks bassist Robert Reynolds in 1994, and later described that second divorce as difficult, saying she held on to the past with my fingernails. Garth and Sandy tried once more to save their marriage after he returned to Oklahoma. He later wrote that they made one last run because they had married before family and God and kept thinking it had to work. It did not. He called that period the roughest time of his life and wrote, "That hurt." On October 9, 2000, they announced plans to divorce, and the filing followed on November 6th. Garth said their focus was the effect on their daughters and remaining parents, even if they were no longer husband and wife. The career had survived critics, strange experiments, and risks. This was different. For the first time, walking away from the stage started to look easier than repairing what fame had helped break. The divorce ended one life. Then, Trisha stepped closer. On October 26, 2000, Garth announced that he was retiring from recording and performing. That evening, Capitol celebrated him reaching 100 million U.S. album sales, a contrast for a man choosing family over the machine that made him famous. His final album before retirement, Scarecrow, arrived in November 2001 and still reached #1 on both the Billboard 200 and Country Albums chart. Garth said he would stay retired until his youngest daughter finished high school. The divorce from Sandy became final on December 17, 2001, after 15 years of marriage. Then came the work of raising 3 girls across 2 homes. Garth later said he and Sandy exchanged the children every day at 6 for 14 years because they did not think the girls should live without either parent. He had to learn the daily work of fatherhood in a whole new way. Years later, he said the 2000s beat the excitement of the 1990s because being a dad became the best years of his life. Meanwhile, the friendship with Trisha had room to change. Around 2000, as both of their marriages were coming to an end, they began dating. In June 2002, they made their first red carpet appearance as a couple at the Songwriters Hall of Fame, where Garth received the Howie Richmond Hitmaker Award. he still took side paths. In 2004, he returned to baseball with the Kansas City Royals and got his first and only spring training hit in his final game. But the moment came in May 2005 at Buck Owens's Crystal Palace in Bakersfield. During an event unveiling bronze statues of country stars, Garth's statue appeared with a wedding band on its finger. In front of 7,000 people, he proposed to Trisha. She said, "All I can say is that I am so happy." 7 months later, on December 10, 2005, they married in a private ceremony at their home near Tulsa. Garth's 3 daughters were part of the wedding. The woman he had met in an attic studio in 1987 was no longer only his friend and duet partner. Both knew what distance could cost, and this time they were determined not to make the same mistake. He left the spotlight, but the spotlight kept calling. Marriage did not send Garth straight back into full-time stardom, but retirement slowly became more flexible. In 2005, he stepped out for benefit concerts and released Good Ride Cowboy in memory of Chris Ledoux. A year later, Love Will Always Win, his duet with Trisha, reached the country top 25 and earned them another Grammy nomination. Their private life was changing too. Trisha became a bonus mom to Taylor, August, and Allie. She later admitted she had been scared because she did not know how to parent 3 girls, but Garth told her not to force herself into being their mother or best friend. She said the girls allowed her to find her own place and became a gift she had never known she needed. The couple also made one rule clear: do not stay apart for long. Trisha estimated they spent only about 5 days apart each year. Meanwhile, audiences were proving they had not forgotten him. In 2007, one planned Kansas City show became 9 sold-out concerts, with about 140,000 tickets gone in under 2 hours. In 2008, 5 sold-out Los Angeles shows raised support after Southern California wildfires. Then, in January 2009, Garth performed at the We Are One celebration before Barack Obama's inauguration. That October, he suspended retirement for a weekend residency at Wynn Las Vegas. Steve Wynn gave him access to a private jet so he could return to Oklahoma and keep family life during the week. The shows were acoustic, and Trisha sometimes joined him. In 2013, daughter August made him a grandfather. That same year, after balancing family with selected performances, Garth appeared on Good Morning America and announced another world tour. The retirement promise had protected his daughters. Now the stage was calling again. His big return nearly fell apart before it began. The return hit trouble almost immediately. In February 2014, Garth announced 2 concerts at Dublin's Croke Park. Demand was so high that 3 more were added, with 400,000 tickets sold. But residents objected, licensing problems followed, and Dublin City Council approved only 3 shows. Garth refused to perform 3 when 5 had been sold, so every concert was canceled. He later expressed remorse, while the controversy helped push Ireland toward new consultation rules for major events. Still, the comeback kept moving. In July 2014, Garth announced a Sony Music Nashville deal, a new album, and a world tour. People Loving People came first, followed by Man Against Machine. Then the road took over. In September, Garth and Trisha began a world tour that lasted 3 years, reached 79 cities, and included 390 shows. Before opening night near Chicago, Garth called himself the luckiest, most blessed guy on the planet and said, "I'm madly in love with her, and I can't stand to spend a day without her." In 2015, they received side-by-side stars on Nashville's Music City Walk of Fame, and Garth joked that even if she left him, they would still be together that way. In 2016, he released Gunslinger and the duet holiday album Christmas Together with Trisha. Their marriage kept appearing in smaller moments too. Garth spoke about quiet dinners at home and joked about earning big points by cooking for her. At the 2016 CMA Awards, after they performed a duet medley, he pulled her close and kissed her on stage. By December 2017, their joint tour had ended. By then, the comeback was fully real. But this time, the marriage was not being left behind while the career moved forward. Trisha was right there beside him. He returned to stadiums with Trisha at the center. In 2018, Garth announced a stadium tour built around North American football venues. He opened the idea at Notre Dame Stadium, then released Stronger Than Me, a song he performed for Trisha at the CMA Awards. She watched as he struggled through the final words, and he had tears of his own. Garth said the song was so her, and believed anyone in a loving couple could understand it. In 2019, he released Dive Bar with Blake Shelton and toured 7 dive bars. He also returned to spring training with the Pittsburgh Pirates to promote charity. Then the pandemic changed live music. Garth and Trisha performed an informal Facebook live concert that drew an estimated 5.2 million streams and crashed the site several times. A CBS follow-up reached about 5.6 million viewers, and they donated $1 million to relief efforts. In June 2020, Garth broadcast a concert to 300 drive-in theaters across North America, and that November, he released Fun. In January 2021, he sang Amazing Grace at Joe Biden's inauguration, calling it a chance to serve and a statement of unity. Later that year, his Lincoln, Nebraska concert sold 90,000 tickets. In 2022, performance of Call in Baton Rouge at Louisiana State University created enough crowd noise to register on the university's seismograph. He then announced another Las Vegas residency, Garth Brooks +1. By 2023, Time Traveler had arrived, and his Nashville venue, Friends in Low Places Bar and Honky Tonk, was becoming another part of his business life. Before opening it, Garth created a political and cultural storm by saying the bar would sell Bud Light after the brand faced a right-wing backlash over its partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Critics attacked him online and threatened to burn merchandise. Garth did not back down. He said, "Inclusiveness is always going to be me," argued that diversity was part of the answer, and told customers to come with love, tolerance, patience, and an open mind. The public fight showed what he was willing to stand for. But away from that noise, his words about Trisha were becoming even harder to miss. Then Garth said the words that changed everything. By 2023, the way Garth spoke about Trisha had moved far beyond a normal celebrity soundbite. He often called her the Queen or Miss Yearwood, while she called him Mr. B, Mr. Brooks, and sometimes Mr. Yearwood. In June, he revealed that Trisha had prepared documents to legally change her last name to Brooks for their anniversary. He refused, saying her father had 2 daughters and that the Yearwood name was Trisha. He even said he would be fine changing his own name instead. That October, Garth said he and Trisha had learned from Jimmy and Rosalind Carter, whom they knew through Habitat for Humanity. He joked that the Carters bickered over the right way to do things, and that the same style worked for them. Then, on the Kelly Clarkson Show in November, he was asked what gratitude meant to him. Garth said that when he took his last breath, he hoped his 3 daughters would be around him, and the Queen would be there too. His voice changed as he added, "I found her in the past life. I'll find her in the next." He tried to laugh through the emotion, but wiped away tears. In December, they celebrated 18 years of marriage by accidentally sending each other flowers with almost the same message. In February 2024, Garth revealed that Trisha's recipes, including her chicken tenders, had made the menu at his Nashville bar. That August, when she received the ACM Honors Icon Award, he wrote that hearing others call her an icon took him someplace new. For years, Garth had described Trisha as his best friend, his queen, and a love he believed crossed lifetimes. Then, in October 2024, that love story was pushed into the shadow of the darkest public accusation of his career. The love story entered its darkest chapter. On October 3, 2024, a former hair and makeup artist sued Garth in California as Jane Roe. She alleged that he had sexually harassed and assaulted her in 2019 and raped her during a Los Angeles work trip. She said she had worked for Trisha since 1999 and began working for Garth in 2017. Her complaint accused him of explicit comments, unwanted touching, explicit messages, and speaking about a sexual fantasy involving Trisha. These were allegations, not proven facts, and Garth denied them. He called the claims lies, described the case as a shakedown, and said he had faced demands for millions of dollars. "I trust the system. I do not fear the truth, and I am not the man they have painted me to be," he said. Before her California filing, Garth had sued anonymously in Mississippi, accusing her of extortion and defamation. After she named him, he amended his case and named her, seeking a judgment that her allegations were untrue. The legal fight continued into 2025. A Mississippi judge declared her motion to dismiss moot, while questions remained about its effect on the California case. Away from court, Garth and Trisha kept appearing together. In January 2025, they sang Imagine at Jimmy Carter's funeral. In March, when Trisha received a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, Garth wiped away tears as she thanked him for being her cheerleader. That year, Trisha explained why she had slowed her career after marriage. She said she stopped touring 200 days a year, made herself present for the girls, went to soccer games, cooked dinner, and tried to make the marriage work because she had learned couples had to be together. She called Garth my person and the love of my life. Garth, meanwhile, said the good times mattered, but going through the bad times together was what made them one and tested the strength of their marriage. The legal battle remained unresolved into 2026, with Garth continuing to deny every claim. Then in June, the Wall Street Journal reported that he was considering selling his back catalog in a potential deal aimed at raising about $2 billion, even as the legal fight continued to hang over his public life. Do you think Trisha was always the person Garth was meant to end up with, or did everything he lost along the way make that love possible? And with the biggest controversy of his life still unresolved, can you separate the man accused in court from the husband Trisha still calls the love of her life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from Hollywood's fascinating history. See you next time.